Okay, so that I keep on repeating similar topics, but you can actually record and upload this one in YouTube. Okay, so what we'll be talking now is about the research. No, so to orient you first to the topic, of course, you choose a title that belongs to the degree program where you are enrolled. Okay, so make sure that the terms that you use there, okay, must be very definite and with only limit. Okay, it must be very definite so that it can only cover up to the time when you are enrolled. Otherwise, if it would be very broad, then you may not be able to finish it. So you have to limit the time that it will be implemented, or limit the particular period of your study. Otherwise, if your title is so broad, it may cover all the period, which may maybe 10 years coverage. So you have to limit. Now, so we're done on the title. We go to, of course, in ordinary publication, okay, there must be an abstract, but in your case there's no need of an abstract. You go directly to the introduction. Okay, what is the content of the introduction. Okay, you take there the rationale of the reason why you conducted that study. Okay, so you put also in the introduction, that's also where you can find your statement of the problem. So in our case, statement of the problem is a separate page. Okay, so the problem you have must be in line with the title. Okay, so there is a direct correlation between the title and your problem. Okay, so each problem you have must be answered in the different chapters of your research. So where can you find that normally? That is found in your chapter 4. Okay, so in different schools they have different chapters, or they have different style, but in our case, okay, the results and discussion is found in your chapter chapter 4. Okay, chapter 3 is the method. Okay, so we'll discuss later on what's the content of the methodology. We'll go back first to the problem, because the very important, okay, is in many cases or many um, design hearing I attended, being a chairman of the department. Okay, I'm the one who assigns um, the panel. Can I always there during the design hearing. The common mistake is, or the problem they have is how to formulate the problem. Okay, so the problem that you formulate later on must be in line with the title. Okay, so basically, or most research is on the profile. Okay, sometimes they ask what's the profile. Why? Because the profile itself would eventually lead you to the second or third problem. Okay, because you cannot see the problem if you do not have the profile yet. Sometimes there's a question, what's the profile of this something of the topic or of the respondent. Okay, like educational qualification, because the answers later on, if you're going to make an assessment, would depend on their educational background or the understanding. Okay, so but there are many kinds of profiling, but you limit only to the criteria or indicator that will probably be related to your study. Okay, you cannot just simply get all the profile, okay, including very personal, if it has no relation to the topic. So limit only to the profile that will probably relevant to your topic. Okay, so sometimes in number 3, because of profile, they ask for the significant relationship between the profile and their answer, whether those who are low in educational qualification perform low compared to those who are higher educational attainment. So that's just an example. So the point here is that when you make a problem, okay, normally it says that the study aims to answer specific problem. Number one, okay, then state that problem. Two, do not choose a question or a research problem that is controversial, okay, or do not simply ask a question that are answerable by not really conducting research, or when the answer can be found in the book, do not ask that, because that is not a researchable question or problem. Okay, so how to test whether it is a researchable problem or not? Okay, ask yourself, if this question is asked, can I find an answer right away? Okay, if the answer is in the law that you're going to measure later on, evaluate, then it is not a researchable question. Okay, so if the answer cannot be found, it needs still a verification, then that is a researchable question or problem. Okay, so most of the problem that they actually pose are not researchable. Okay, because they can easily get an answer from the book, or they can really get an answer from the law that they ask. Okay, like for example, the four P's. There are questions that will only be answered by yes or no, or the a mere opinion of the respondent. That is not researchable. So take note of that. Take note of that. So you try to craft a problem that is researchable or not. Only researchable. But if it is not researchable, when it can be answered by simply looking at the book or reading a book, then it is not researchable. Okay, and do not ask that. So only those that are researchable that will be accepted. So in most cases, panel members will dwell most of their time on formulating the problem. Okay, sometimes we do not look into the method because this can easily be crafted and corrected. Okay, we spend in many design hearing, we spend most of our time in crafting the problems. So from the title, we craft a problem based on the title. So look at the title. What is your title? That's why you have to craft a title that is very um important and of your prurient interest. Because if the topic is not of your interest, you will not finish it. You will not find it interesting to do such research. Okay. So after that, okay, normally in the fifth problem there are only 5 or 6. In the last problem, they would say what policy may be recommended based on the study. Okay, so out of the question that you formulated, you can put there what policy, if you want a policy, or what can be recommended. Okay, your recommendation now. That's the time that you can make your own observation or write anything, but that must be in accordance with the findings, and that is found in your recommendation, which is probably a fifth or the sixth question of your research, or even fourth. Okay, what policy that may be recommended based on your study, on the findings of the study. So I mean, out of the findings, you make now your own assessment or recommendation. And this is the most important part of research, because okay, this can actually change the landscape of the topic that you research. Okay, upon reading it, people will know this is the solution. For policymakers, this is the one that they're going to implement. There's no need for them to actually conduct a research, because they'll just rely on your research. And your recommendations may become a source of their legislation. Okay? So that's our purpose. You have to make policy based on our research. That's why it's important really to conduct a research before we craft a policy. Okay? You cannot make a policy or a legislation out of nowhere. There must be a basis, and the basis must be research. So I know you get now the purpose of this research, because that is who we are. Okay, we're going to craft a policy for the betterment of the country. Now, after the problem, there are many topics still. You can add more, but generally you can add only definition of terms, scope and limitation. Okay, meaning you have to limit what is the coverage of your research. What do you mean by limitation? You make boundary. Otherwise, you you ex you go into the realm of a topic that is not yours. Okay, so you make a boundary of your research, and that is found in your scope and limitation. And then you can define terms, the other definition of terms, and that includes only the terms which are found in your title. Okay, so you have to explain every word that you use in the title, and other words that the reader might meet along the way upon reading. So as early as now, you put it there and define it based on how you use it. Okay, or we call it as the technical term. Okay, use the term that the definition, not the general understanding of everybody, but based on how it is used in that particular research. Because topic terms may be understood in many ways, but if that understanding, but if the term is only used on a particular understanding or concept in your research, then that is the definition that you're going to put there. Okay, do not copy the definition given by Webster. No, use a technical definition. Okay, now we go to chapter 2, which is the review of related literature. Okay, so you're going to have you conducted a research already? You were you under me last year or last sem?
Not wala, sir.
Oh, is this your
Dili may
first
under nimo last year, sir.
first time? Is it the first time?
Yes, sir. First time, sir.
Okay. So, but what year are you now?
Third year, sir.
Okay, third year. So it's like this. You have to make a in your review of related literature and related studies. So there are two parts that I should see. I should expect from chapter 2. One is that review of related studies. The other one, review of related literature. We go into review of related studies. When we go to review of related studies, look at your title, okay, and search in Google. Okay, you write there international journal and then the term or the topic that you that you that you want to research. So the article that you're going to read are only those that are related to the topic you have. So you have to make you quote. So the technique is that you have to get the title, okay, the author, if there's DOI or direct indexing, it's called lately it's called DOI. Okay, so there are many articles that you're going to read. Okay, you read my article they publish, right? Just search my name in internet. there are articles that will appear there. That's how you're going to write. Okay, but in your case, since it may not be publishable yet, all you have to do is to write the whole chapters. Okay, maybe we can just have we'll just have it publishable only after you conducted the thorough research. So related studies simply means that these are the topic, an article found in the internet that is similar to your study. Okay, so you can put there according to so and so, and this topic is said that he's against the findings, or he is this is what he said. Okay, so if it is against or negative to what to the topic that you want to study, you combine all, meaning you gather all. Do not simply according to him is negative and the other one is positive, is against, another is pro, another is con. Do not do like that. All you have to do is to gather all who are pro, and then later on conduct another make another paragraph who are against. Okay, so do not combine pro con, otherwise the reader might be confused. Okay, so all the studies that is relevant or connect similar to your study, those who are against or those who are pro, you combine all those studies. Okay, so do not read any books now, because when you publish an article or like this a research, the journal would ask you to use a journal, okay, that you research. Okay, meaning you have to search in an internet a journal and quote it. I tried it. Okay, in fact, in our journal, which I am also an editor in Europe, there's an article there. There's a journal there which I am a reviewer. We make it sure that there are authors, international authors are quoted. Okay, so if you can use an article which are internationally published, well, that's better. So you can search my name if you want to use an article that I publish. Okay, search it and then quote it, or any other author. So that is in review of related studies. Review of related literature is any literature, anything that may be useful in your research. So probably books. But I would suggest that if possible, use only an article. Okay, why? Because books right now, there may be a points of the university, if you quote their professors, okay, articles, okay, so you quote those who are professors of our school who published. Okay, so again, review of related literature is anything that is relevant. Okay, so you quote that. How? Okay, so first write the family name, the author, and the year. So family name, comma, the year it was published, or put it in the parentheses. So why year? The year is the year when that book was published or article was published. There's no need actually of writing the article, only the family name, the author, family name of the author, and the year it was published. Okay, you can say according to Belmonte, and then quote the year. the year, parenthesis, meaning according to him on his article published in that year. Okay, so now for chapter 3, which is the methodology. For methodology, so this study, you will write there, this study employs the qualitative if it doesn't have any numbers, or if it's about an interview. Okay, so if it's an interview, you put there the instrument. Do not use the instrument used is laptop. No, this is not an instrument or computer. Now you can use there the schedule of the interview if it's qualitative. Now if it's quantitative, you put there the instrument is that a survey questionnaire. It may be a standardized questionnaire, or simply you use your own questions based on the criteria that you set. Okay, or you can have the study is employs both qualitative and quantitative. If there are questions that are answerable by a survey, or you conduct as well at the same time an interview, so it can be both qualitative and quantitative. Now for instrument, okay, that's the one I said. Okay, do not use laptop, calculator. That's not an instrument. It simply means the survey. Okay, the survey questionnaire. And then for the respondents, okay, you put there how you choose the respondent, how you choose them, and it should not be less than 40. Okay, because less than 40 may not be acceptable in statistics, but that is applicable if it's an interview. Okay, you can have a focus group discussion for qualitative. Okay, you interview only those people that are capable of giving a brilliant idea or opinion. Okay, or if it's quantitative, you put there it's a random sampling. The respondents was chosen randomly or through purposive sampling, or meaning you choose that person, those persons um, will be the respondent. That is purposive. If it's not purposive, meaning you do not have any choice, but you just simply randomly choose the respondent. But if you have a prospect that this should be the group of people that will be interviewed, that will be questioned, that will be surveyed, then it's called purposive sampling. Okay, so that is in method. The location. Okay, you put there where, okay, and why. So the point here is that it's like when you conduct research, it's like making a conclusion, but the premise you have must be valid. Okay, and what are those premises? The method that you're going to employ, okay, to make that conclusion valid. Because if the method is not valid, then the conclusion is not valid as well. So how do you choose in order to arrive at a valid conclusion? It must be done randomly, because if you only choose those people because they know the correct answer, because they're knowledgeable, the answer, the result may not be genuine, or may not be valid. Okay, so that's how you guide your mind in crafting a research. Okay, so that is what I'm going to expect in the midterm. Chapters 1, 2, and 3. Chapter 3 is the method, which I already tell you was the content. The sample is already there, which I posted. The dissertation, which I am the advisor. Have you seen it?